Hey, everybody. It's another there's so much great material out there. It's unbelievable. These are 7 things emotionally intelligent people don't do. This is the emphasis on don't do, okay? There's 2 really good books on emotional intelligence written by the same author. One is the original one, and the other is a second. I don't know what they are off the top of my head. I'll post them on Twitter. You should follow me on Twitter at Hector Marque. Check out my website, hectormarque.com. You can subscribe to a podcast or get your friends do. I have a recommended reading list. I've got tons and tons of audios that I've done over the years. If you're interested in listening to those, there's all kinds of different topics. Anyways, it's all there for anybody who's interested in being successful. Okay, 7 things emotionally intelligent people don't do. Do not do. The restaurant manager who speaks with poise and grace to the patron complaining loudly about the wait service. The level-headed friend you call in your greatest times of need. The compassionate but composed rescue worker who aids victims after a natural catastrophe. The partner who angers rarely, forgives easily, and assumes accountability for their actions. The successful CEO who balances her profession, her family responsibilities, and her personal hobbies with equal measure of calm and confidence. What do these people have in common? In 2 words, emotional intelligence. A relatively new trend in the realm of pop culture and psychology today, emotional intelligence, or EQ, has existed since the beginning of time, according to Psychology Today. The preeminent site for mental health, education, information, emotional intelligence is defined as an aptitude for identifying and managing emotions and the emotions of others. Great things if you're ever going to be a leader. You must learn how to do this. It consists of 3 primary skills: the ability to analyze interior emotions and the feelings of those around them, the capacity to apply emotions to tasks, and the facility to take control of emotions. Big part, take control of emotions, whether it's managing their own before they veer out of control or having the strength and the capability to make another person smile, settle down, calm down, or handle a situation appropriately. Those with high emotional IQs have been proven to enjoy more prosperity in life. Another reason why you should study this. Whether they're in the social or professional environment, they thrive. Studies demonstrate they have fewer mental health issues, including depression and anxiety, because they look at the world in a different way. Their personal lives aren't train wrecks, precisely because they lived from the point of thoughtful and meaningful decisions. They outperform. In other words, they don't go off the handle and say things and do things without first thinking them through. They outperform others, excel at their jobs, are happy in their relationships, and consistently work towards attaining positive results in all aspects of life. So the question is, what don't they do? Here are 7 things emotionally intelligent people, as a rule, avoid. Number 1, they don't get caught up in other people's drama. Man, you see this all the time. People will come, and tell me about their relationships. I say, wait a second. Look, I'm not a counselor. It's not what I do. If you want to know how to close a transaction, how to recruit somebody, how to train somebody, how to get a result, I'm your person, okay? I'm your man. But as far as your personal life and helping you with your dramatic situations, I can't do that. I won't do that because it's a losing proposition any way you look at it. One of the hallmarks of emotional intelligence is empathy, and those with high IQs extend it to everyone they cross. But there's an enormous difference between displaying empathy towards a friend or a loved one and allowing another person's rage or misery or big challenge, right, to incense, dominate, or merely influence one's well-being. Think of the historic behavior of your coworker who is distraught, not because she or he is going through a breakup, but because her friend is, or that cousin of yours who, instead of focusing on her individual personal crisis, purposely seeks out people who are distressed so that her problems disappear via distraction. A habit so ingrained she can't seem to address the complications of her own life. Emotionally intelligent people, on the other hand, listen carefully, provide gentle, loving, but authoritative advice, and offer assistance. But they don't permit others' lives and reactions to rule their own. So in other words, if somebody asks me, I'm having a problem with my spouse or whatever, I'd say, look, I can't help you with that. You need to go seek out, there's lots of competent, therapists out there that could probably help you. And there's books. I would go on Amazon.com. I'd look up everything I can on the subject, and I'd start studying it. That's what I would do. And then that's it. I don't want to get involved in their life, in their personal life. It's like I said, it's a losing proposition. There's no upside for that. And number one, I don't have the skill sets to help them with that anyway. That's not what I do. They want to learn how to close a sale. I'm the person. If they want to know how to recruit somebody and train somebody and get results, that's me. But the other part, no can do. Number two, they don't complain. This is a huge one. I never, ever complain to anyone. I don't do it. And we say, well, are you sure? Yes, I don't do it. You know why I don't do it? Because there's no upside to complain. Why complain? If there's something I can do about it, I do something about it. If they're not, I let it go. But I don't complain because complaining is repulsive. It pushes people away. You want to push people away? I'm in the attraction business. I'm trying to recruit great people. I'm trying to close transactions with clients. So complaining is, pushes people away, and there's no way I'm going to do that because I don't want to hurt my business. I don't want to hurt my future, and I don't want to hurt anybody for that matter, right? There's no upside to being a complainer. Stop complaining. Whining and grumbling implies two things. One, that we're victims. I am not a victim. I had an issue with trying to buy a car, and the person that sold me the car said they could do something, and ended up taking 2 months longer than it should have, and, it's a big old hassle. Anyways, the friend who feels like they referred them to me was upset, and they wanted to complain to them and tell them how upset they were about that. I said, no, don't. I don't want you to. I'm done with that. I learned my lesson. I won't use them again, and I learned something from that. So I'm just letting it go. I want you to let it go. There's no upside to doing that. Nobody wins from that. You might feel better for a second, but then now you alienate that person too. I don't want to alienate. I don't dislike the person. They just didn't do a very good job, and I just won't do business with them again. It's that simple. But there's no reason to complain. What for? It's over. It's done with. I moved on already. You should move on as well. That's what I told them, and I have. I love the car. The car is fantastic. It's an A8L, beautiful, car. Drives like a dream, and the car's awesome. The experience buying it wasn't so awesome. So what? It's over. Done. Let's go. Don't complain. Move on. I've got many things to do. I want to grow my business, so I don't want to be spending time on negativity. There are no solutions to our problems. Rarely does an emotionally intelligent person feel victimized. Even more infrequently does an emotionally intelligent person feel that a solution is beyond their grasp. Instead of looking for someone or something to blame, they immediately think of how to constructively address the dilemma. That's exactly it. You don't need to blame somebody. How can you fix this? Well, in that situation, I just explained my situation is I'll find somebody else to buy a car from in the future. Simple. Done. They also know that their complaints influence the emotional responses of those around them, and instead search for ways to bemoan the dissolution of the relationship or disappointment with a friend in private, effective ways, whether it's taking a yoga class, meditating alone in the park, or simply getting their feelings out on a page and moving on. This holding on to all these things is just, it's like cancer, folks. It's success cancer, if you will. Number three, they don't always say yes to others and themselves. Like empathy, self-control and conviction are sure signs of an emotionally solid person. One of the things I see in building my business and I see in working with people is how so few people have the ability to control their behavior, their thoughts, and themselves. As a result, they struggle all the time because they can't control what they're thinking, they can't control their actions, and they can't control, their behavior. So what ends up happening, they create constant chaos in their life. You've got to learn to control your thoughts and your actions, which will result in whatever, results you have. Emotionally intelligent people are well aware that a second glass of wine will lead to a negative consequence the next morning. Or maybe worse, it could lead to a DUI, which, drunk while intoxicated, right? That could cost you your license, it could cost you a job potentially, you could hurt somebody, right? So emotionally intelligent people don't do that. Just as they know that an invitation to go on a spontaneous weekend rendezvous will detract them from fulfilling their pre-existing commitments, right? Taking time off when you really shouldn't be taking time off, when you have things to do. I see people in my business all the time. They're constantly taking time off. They say, oh, I want to do this, and I want to be successful, and I want to build a big business, and I want to make a lot of money, and they're always gone. People that start doing well, what I see them do is they start doing well, then everybody wants them to come and speak to their group, so they start traveling all around, speaking to their groups, taking away from their business, taking away from their time, taking away from their family, taking away from developing their own business, and they don't see it. It's insidious. It ends up costing them a fortune over time. They're definitive about their decisions rather than saying, I don't know, maybe, or perhaps I'll skip the gym today, which invites doubt, and with that, heightened anxiety and possibly even depression. The more often emotionally intelligent people exercise their right to say no, and the more frequently they rely on their willpower, the freer they are to concentrate on their ambitions and overall well-being. Like saying no. I say no a lot to people. Not as much as I used to because people don't ask as much, so I get lots of invitations to speak. And I almost always say no. It would be highly unusual for me to say yes to somebody at this point in my career. And what I tell them, though, I say, look, what I've done in lieu of coming out and talking to you, number one, you probably won't do what I'm going to tell you to do anyways, because very few people ever do. That's been one of the big problems why I stopped speaking for people is I go and I talk about what I did and what they should do, and I never see them do it. So very rarely, sometimes, but it's highly unusual. So I don't do that. So what I say to them, I say, look, in lieu of me coming out and spending time with your people, whatever, which will take away from my life and my family and my business, which I'm not going to allow, you're more than, I have a website set up. I have all the things I would tell your people are on that website. I have tons and tons of audios. You can subscribe to my weekly podcast, which those of you who are listening, you hear this every week. Most people don't take me up on that. It's very inexpensive, I think it's $49 a year, and it gives you access to like 270 podcasts and 52 additional ones that are coming in the future. They can't even do that. It's crazy. But the bottom line is I say, look, if you want to come out when I'm doing an event, you can come. You're welcome anytime, all right? The other thing is I'll do a conference call for you maybe. It depends who they are. I mean, they have to be somebody that's really on it with a big bass shop and killing it before I would do a conference call for them. But I would do that for somebody that's really on the same page as I am. I'm not going to do it for somebody that has this little piddly bass shop and not really focused and doesn't work hard. That's a waste of my time too. So, but I do that occasionally as well. So, you got to learn how to say no sometimes. So, number 4, they don't gossip. When you start gossiping, people you're gossiping with, you know what they think? I wonder what he says about me. I wonder what she says about me. I wonder what they're talking about when I'm not there. That's what they think. They think you're not trustworthy. You gossipers, you know who you are. You think you're so cool gossiping, and it feels good to do that. Did you hear about so-and-so? You know what? If you were smart, you would never do that. Because people start going, what are they saying about me? I can't trust them. Stop gossiping. Emotionally acute people sidestep gossip as determinedly as they skirt drama. To involve themselves in scandalous talk they know is to shame another for a supposed error, and all of us make errors. An emotionally intelligent person understands that all humans are equally deserving and that what others might perceive as a mistake is an opportunity for improvement. Look, you, me, we are not better than other people. People make mistakes. People's behavior is a result of their level of awareness. When somebody makes a mistake, it's because they have a low level of awareness relative to that particular situation. There's lots of things in my life that I had if I could do it over, I wouldn't have done. Because today I'm much more aware than I was when I did those things, especially when I was really young. So it doesn't make me a bad person. It doesn't make that person you're talking about a bad person either. It just makes them unaware in regards to that particular situation. Stop gossiping. Number 5, they don't count on others for happiness or confidence. No one's going to make you happy, and no one's going to make you confident. Emotionally intelligent people are self-sufficient in all manners of life, including their contentment and peace of mind. They've learned that to bank on someone else making them feel joyful or worthy is to put themselves at risk for disappointment and hopelessness. Rather, they take their emotions in their own hands and find hobbies that delight them. They strive for achievement or achievements that will lead to a sense of self-worth and search within for love and acceptance. Look, no one's going to make you happy, and no one's going to make you confident. Only you can do that for yourself. And by the way, the more confident you get, if you get really, really good at what you do, you're going to become more confident. You're going to start having better results, more success. And guess what's going to happen to your happiness quotient? It's going to go up. And you're the only one that can do that. No one can do that for you. Number 6, they don't engage in negative self-talk. While few of us are entirely immune to thinking or saying pessimistic statements at being with, I'm unattractive, I should have done better, I'm pathetic, I'm a loser, I'm no good at this, I'll never win. Emotionally intelligent people have the ability to curb cynical thoughts before they fall down the proverbial rabbit hole. Instead, they rely on facts to come to conclusions. For some, it's a mere glance at their experience and accomplishments outlined on their CVs. For others, it's the appearance of a clean, organized house or an internal analysis of what they've done right. After all, emotionally intelligent people acknowledge that negative thoughts are just that, thoughts. Just as they recognize that the derogatory interior voices they hear are theirs to turn down, tune out, or silence completely. Like I said, negative talk is simply focusing on what you don't want. That's all it is. And when you learn to focus on what you do want and you eliminate what, thinking about, talking about what you don't want, your life will improve. I guarantee it. Absolutely. So what's negative self-talk? It's thinking, talking about what you don't want. Stop doing that. It's a losing proposition. You're never going to get where you want to go when that's what you're thinking and talking about consistently. Instead, replace it with what you do want and talk and think only about what you do want. Number 7, they don't dwell on the past. Look, people who exist more in their past than in their present are susceptible to a barrage of mental and spiritual grievances. From regret and nostalgia to agitation and trepidation, emotionally intelligent people honor their pasts, the people they have loved, the mistakes they've made, the opportunities they've eschewed, but are mindful of the importance of living squarely in the here and now. By learning from the past instead of dwelling on it, the emotionally intelligent have the power to inform their present without diminishing their ability to advance or harness 3 of the most vital emotions of all: self-satisfaction, gratitude, and hope. Look, the past, I talk about this all the time. If you haven't read Eckhart Tolle's material, The Power of Now, phenomenal book that I think I've read 10 times maybe. I have it on audio too. It's so important because when you really think about it, there is absolutely, never has been, never will be any time but right now. Even if as you're listening to me talk, this is the only time that exists is right now. What I said 5, 10, 20 minutes ago, or what happened a year ago or 5 years ago, or when you're a kid growing up and your parents were maybe not the best, okay, that doesn't exist right now. It's done, and you can't go back. You can only be here now. As I'm speaking to you, hopefully you're listening, you're present, you're not being distracted by something. But the bottom line, there is no other time but right now. There's no future either because the future doesn't exist. It happens in every right now. Then when it's happening, it's no longer future, it's now. So the reality in life, there is no other time but now. You might go, well, what do you mean? There's a past. Yes, there's a past, but it doesn't exist in our reality anymore. It's past. It only exists in some mental construct in your mind. And the future doesn't exist either. It might exist only in what you're thinking about how you want things to turn out in the future, and there's nothing wrong with that. But don't get fooled by the fact that there's any other time but right now. So focus on what you want right now so that your future, and do the work right now so that your future right nows are what you want them to be. Because the only thing that's going to change the future is what you do right now. And there's not a darn thing you can do about what happened yesterday, a year ago, 10, 20, 30, 50 years ago. Nothing. It's over. You have to let that go. And instead, get present. Present means to be here and now, right now. Actually, the word is even a great word. What is a present? It's a gift. A present. Your present situation is a gift. It's a gift that you're alive, that you have the ability to influence the future by what you do right now. So, what are you doing right now? You could be thinking about what I'm talking about and say, oh, he's full of crap, or, whatever, doesn't know what he's talking about. Or you can just hear it, see if it resonates, if it seems true to you or not. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. But the bottom line is, one thing I know for sure, there is no other time but now. And so focus right now on thinking correctly, doing the right things, so that all of your future right nows are what you want them to be.